Hi everyone. Welcome to this session on building your business idea with AI. So this is going to be a very interesting session where we are going to show you how you can take your idea and build a product end to end. To do this, we will cover a bunch of different tools, and hopefully by the end of this lecture, everyone will have a clear idea of how you can build your own products using AI. So without any delay, so let me start sharing my screen. I'll give you an overview of what we are going to do in the session, and then we'll jump right into it. The idea with this session is very simple. So let's say as of today, empowered with AI, every one of us who has an idea can actually build real products, right? So today we are going to show you the entire process of how you can take an idea, then build some prototypes of on that, and actually ship real websites with it. And even during this workshop, we will take some real examples so that you can understand it best. The agenda for today is very simple. So first we will start with the ideation part. So let us take one idea that we have, and I will show you how you can use AI to do some market research and competitor analysis. Then once we have the idea ready, we will also create an amazing pitch deck also, right? So that we can send it to investors or something like that. So once we have done ideating, then I'll show you how you can build a prototype with that using Claude, as well as there is one other amazing Google app called Stitch, where we will show you how you can prototype for Android apps. So then in the last part, what we will do is we will also show you how you can take that app and deploy it using Claude Code, right? So it's going to be a full round experience where you will understand how to research about the product, how to do prototyping, and eventually how to build that. Okay, great. Without any delay, so let us start with the first part, right? Like what I have personally seen is that with AI, building things have become very, very easy, right? But let's say just because it is easy to build doesn't mean that you can just build anything you want and people will just purchase it, right? So the most important part, so AI has made building very, very easy. But the idea is if you just build anything without proper research, again, we are actually doing that for nothing, right? So first step, what we will do is we will select an idea, and then we will do a detailed market research on that idea. We will try to understand who its competitors are, what is the landscape and everything. So we can do a market research, and then based on that, we can create a pitch deck for our startup. So once we do that, once we do the basic ideation part, we will have the enough information about the app, and then we will proceed to the next part. Okay. Just to let's say I'm choosing an idea that will help me show you different features in different form, but you can feel free to choose any idea that you want. At least for most of the prompts that I'm showing, I will also send it on the chat so that you can also work it out. Okay. So the first thing that so here I already thought about an idea that I wanted to build today. So the idea that I want to build is something like this, right? So I want to build a mental health, let's say startup where AI does the therapy. AI does therapy, but instead of regular AI characters, we will have some Greek philosophers do their. Let's say if you are doing, let's say if you want to chat with someone, instead of just talking to random AI, you can actually configure which philosophers you want to talk with, right? Let's say mental health chatbot, which is powered by AI philosophers, or maybe Greek AI philosophers, right? So we will take popular AI philosophers and we will try to build something with that. So this is the idea that I'm going to build. But before actually understanding if we should build it or not, let us try to do a market research on what is the appetite for this, like how are the competitors generally working, who are the competitors, and so on. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Claude. So you can see I'm on Claude right now. And in this, what I will do is I'll just take the prompt from this. So I have already built a prompt that will help me conduct a product research on any idea that I want. So here, what I'm going to do is I'll just copy paste this entire prompt. I will also send it to you so that you can also use it if you want. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just go to Claude, and so when you're using Claude, for most of the tasks you can use Sonnet. Sonnet is very efficient. But if you're working on complex tasks, use Opus. But if you're working on very tough tasks or complex tasks, then use Fable. For now, it's a simple research task, so I'll use Sonnet. And here I'll just copy paste the prompt that I have. And in this, you need to ensure that you replace it with your idea. I'll say mental health chatbot with AI week. So this is the idea that I want to build. So you can see what are all the things that I wanted to cover. So I'm asking you to do a research on the primary target audience, who might be the one that who might sign up for this. And let's say it also talks about analyze the core problem, how they face, how frequently they face it, and so on. And then you can see research, alternate and competitors, alternatives, competitors, including positioning, pricing, and so on. Right. So you can see the first part is basic market research. The first part, as you can see, is market research that we are doing. And the second part of the prompt is actually competitor analysis, right? So for any product that we are running, you can just run this simple prompt and you can do this. So one thing that I also want to do is, let's say for the output. So instead of getting a simple chat output, which is very, very long, so what I can do is I can actually type in a prompt. So I can actually ask Claude to create a detailed Excel sheet, right? Create an Excel sheet with different tabs for the overview. Saying I'm asking Claude to create a Excel sheet with different tabs for the overview, so that there is one Excel sheet where all the information of researchers lie. So I just need to type this and we just press enter. Now, what happens is most AI chatbots today are actually very powerful AI agents. So, what does that mean? So, whenever you ask a question like this, instead of directly giving you an answer, you can see that AI is dividing your task into multiple steps and it is doing a research, right? So, here, as soon as I mentioned about my problem statement, Claude is now decomposing your problem into different types. So it's saying, okay, first I will think about market positioning and it will start doing market research, right? So now you can see that it is searching internet about mental health chatbot market and bunch of other things, as you can see. So you can see 15, 15, 15, almost 60, 75, 100. Okay, you can see how many websites it is going through just like that, right? So you can see that, yeah, this is actually very good. So you can see it is reading 15 websites in just few seconds, right? So it is at least read 200 websites as we speak, right? So you can see how fast it is reading all of this. So for a human being to do like go through 200 websites and coming up with some research, it would easily take a couple of weeks or even more. Now, as you can see, Claude has done research over 200 to 50 websites just in a matter of few minutes, right? So now you can see that it has done all the research and now it is saying that I'll now look at this Excel workbook and build something. So most AI chatbots as of today are equipped with something called artifacts, right? So that enables AI models to create documents like Google Docs, Excel workbooks, PDF, HTML, and everything. So here you can see that as we speak, Claude is also building an Excel workbook for us from scratch, right? So any moment now, we should have the output from Claude where we can see the research part. So you can see that it is still building. So one thing about AI is also that it will build the artifact, whatever you are asking, Excel, PDF, HTML, or anything. And AI will also do a check whether everything is looking good or not. So you can see the chat, it says that it is currently building tab 5 and tab 6. So I'm expecting that the Excel report that we are going to get will be huge. Okay. So one thing about AI is that AI agents are very powerful, but earlier with AI models, we used to get output in a couple of minutes, right? So now any task that we run, let's say a little bit complicated task that we run, easily takes around 5 to 10 minutes. So that is one downside. But again, if you look at, uh, let's say it takes 10 minutes to wait, but otherwise it would have taken 2 weeks. So it's anyways a good deal for us. So you can also see that it is probably building It's also building tab 9, so which is probably a lot higher than what I thought it initially would do. Okay, now I'm excited to see how the final sheet is going to look like. So let us wait and see. Okay, it's also building tab 10 and tab 11, so which is even okay. It's relentless, right? So this AI is relentless. So while AI is preparing some output for us, how about you answer a poll question? So let me just show you one poll question on the screen, and you can just tell us about you while the AI gives the output. So the first question is, what describes you the best? Are you a student? Are you a working professional with 0 to 5 years of experience? Okay, we will have some more poll questions as we go through, but now we can see that AI has already given some output. So let us see. So it says build fast with AI, Greek philosopher, chatbot, market research. Okay, so let us click on this. So you can see that it is creating an Excel file that I can export to my Google Drive also. So I'll just open it in Drive so that we can see the full sheet at once. So you can see this is the research report that AI has just created just with a single prompt, right? So you can see that the first slide has an overview. The second slide has some market sizing on everything. And some target personas on this is the user research part, so where it is also doing some user research part on which users would actually get it, and then problem statement analysis, competitor analysis. Yeah, so competitor bots, so these are the competitor bots that you can see. So these are all like you can see better help, replica, Uper, Visa. So these are some popular chatbots that we are actually seeing, and you can also see their pricing that they're doing. Okay, and you can see a bunch of other apps that has similar, let's say, personas, pricing analysis, and everything, right? So, to before building a product, how powerful it is to have all this research at your disposal, right? So, generally, we start building and then we try to figure out all the things one by one as the weeks progress, right? So, but with something like this, you can do all the research at once and you can keep it with you. So now, when you are starting to build a product, so you exactly know whom you are building for, what you are building for, and so on. So that way, you can save weeks of time and months of time by doing entire research like this. But let's say you might feel like, okay, this is you want to get some other details from the AI, right? So let's say here I have asked two simple parts, market research and competitive analysis, and it is given. But let's say if you want a third component or fourth component, you can just feel free to add it in the sheet and AI will give you that analysis too. So now the benefit of creating all this output is that it will become very easy for us when we are creating a pitch deck, right? So if we want to create a pitch deck where we want to, let's say in that we need to show analysis of the market, how we are positioning different and so on. So now since we have all this research, we can also continue, we can ask AI to continue on this and create and ask it to create an amazing pitch deck for us, right? So what I can say is, so let's say I'm calling this app, let's say below is what I want to call this app for now. And you can also design how you want, let's say this app to be like, right? How you want this presentation to look like. Let's say since we are creating this app which talks about Greek philosophers and everything. So how about we create a presentation which looks slightly vintage, right? But again, since we are doing a pitch deck, let us keep it formal for now. But I will show you how you can modify into different, let's say, pitches as well. So create a pitch deck. I don't want more than 7 slides. So I'm just keeping the output to be small so that we don't keep waiting for a long time. So here you can see I'm saying I don't want more than 7 slides in the pitch deck. I'll say include a lot of interactive graphs and tables wherever you can. And let's say the colors. So I would say my colors in the PPT. So the color theme that I want to do is, let's say I wanted to use, let's say, bright orange, white, and green as main colors. And here, what you need to do is, let's say, if you are just asking AI model to create PPT, you will just get the regular Microsoft PowerPoint, which is again boring. So what you need to do is, let's say whenever you ask it to create a pitch deck, you should just say in HTML, right? So if you ask it to create in PPTX or maybe the normal PowerPoint version, you will get the same designs. But here we are asking it to create in HTML so that we can get dynamic designs, graphs, and everything. So I'll just press enter on this. So you can see that now AI is looking at this presentation. So it's looking at all the research that we have done, and it is now creating a vibrant color palette, and it is actually building something for us. So again, as usual with any agent task, it will again take around 5 minutes to get it right. But you can just see that, right? So thinking about, we just thought about a product idea. We have done the entire research in a matter of few minutes. And now we are converting that entire research into a pitch deck. So you can see that it is now creating everything slide by slide and everything. So yeah, so within any minute now, we should have the output that we can see. Okay, so you can see that you can also, let's say, whenever you are seeing let's say, typing any question in the chatbot. So most of the chatbots just hide all the thinking, right? So what you generally need to do is, instead of just waiting it or passing time, so what I really like to do is I just click on this and I can see what AI is doing, right? So you can just read what AI is doing step by step so that you can understand where it is going. So let's say sometimes it happens that you look into these tasks that AI is doing, and once in a while, what happens is that I notice that AI is actually going in a wrong direction. So I don't want it to be doing certain things. So I'll just stop the task so that I can save these credits and restart the task with better prompt, right? So it has basically done all the research, and now it is creating a pitch deck also. So we will have the pitch deck ready too. Okay, it's at final step. I think we will have the output anytime soon. So once we have this output, having this understanding, we will go to the next part and we'll start building the application itself from scratch. So you can also do the similar thing with ChatGPT or any other chatbot also. But the idea is, let's say I particularly like the outputs that Claude gives. And ChatGPT at times, if you use a high model, it is also very, very slow compared to this. So I personally prefer Claude when I'm doing these type of tasks, but it's up to you. You can also choose ChatGPT. You can also choose DeepSeek or any other model that you like. Okay, it's actually taking unusually long than generally, but let us just give it a couple more minutes and see where it is with this. I think this is very, very long, but yeah, after this we'll anyways proceed to building apps. So let us just wait while this is running. So one experiment that we can also do is, so let's say we can give the same prompt to ChatGPT also and see how that is working. So for that, what we will do is I'll just download this research document. So since we have Claude has already done all the research, so no point of asking ChatGPT to do the same thing again and again. So while Claude is building a PPT, let us also type the same prompt to ChatGPT and see which output we like better. So I'll just go to chatgpt.com. And in that, what I'll do is I'll just copy paste this PPT, right? So that we have just created. And what I'm going to do is I'll just take this prompt and I'll just put it here, right? And let's say within ChatGPT, if you want good outputs, if you're using instant, you will get slightly bad output. So I generally go for high or pro. Pro will actually cost a lot of credit. So I'll just go for high and I'll just press enter. So now we are also asking ChatGPT to design a deck for us. But here, instead of asking ChatGPT to do the research itself, we are just giving all the research by uploading an Excel sheet. So AI has capability to read the Excel sheets, understand it, and condense the information. So we are just relying on that. So ChatGPT will go through this in detail, and then it will start creating a website pitch deck for us. Okay. So one thing that you can also see is what is happening here is that as AI is running, most chatbots today also have these verification pipelines. So what they do is once they create a website or a web page, PPT or anything, instead of directly showing you the output, AI will actually verify if what AI has created is correct or not. So that is what is happening here. So likely AI has already created the presentation for us. And you can see starting from this step, it is actually validating a few things within the PPT. And you can see that it is diagnosing some issue with the chart, right? So it has noticed some issue with some chart failure and it is, let's say, trying to redo it. Okay, I didn't expect this to happen, but it is good, right? So let's say earlier with chatbots, what used to happen is you used to ask it to do some research, let's say create some charts or anything. So once you get the output from AI, you actually realize that this is not working properly and you have to send the prompt again. But with AI these days, that problem is not really there. So once you give the question, AI will, let's say, as you can see, it has already created a presentation. So now it has started checking whether the application is working correctly or not. And then it has realized that there is some bug within whatever presentation it has created. And now it is working back and seeing how to change it. So you can see AI is now working on each lines. It is changing and checking again. I hope now we will have the final output because we can see that it is reading all the slides and it should be ready soon. It says excellent. Up till 5 slides, it is done correctly. Now it is reading 6 slide, and if 7th slide is also correct, we should be able to have it. Okay, I don't know why it went to slide 3 again, but let's see. Generally, we don't face this issue, but it is good that you are seeing all this. So let's say if you try the same prompt after this lecture, or you're trying this up to yourself, you will not really understand why this is happening. So now that you see why AI sometimes take a lot of time, so you can see why that is taking a lot of time, right? So generally, if you just close it, you can just, let's say you will just see this, but now you can actually understand what is happening. So you can see AI has created some outputs and it is actually checking these. So you can see these are the slides it has created and just checking whether everything is working correctly or not. Okay, finally, after we can also see how much time it took. Okay, so now we will just click on this and see how the pitch deck came out. And we can see that what are the different colors it is using: bright orange, deep green, and white green. So this is the app called Willow, and you can see that it is giving a chatbot, a Socratic AI companion for mind. And you can see it is talking about the problem. Okay, so there is some error with the graph, so we can actually download this and see if it works correctly. Okay, so there is still an issue with the graph, so we can actually ask AI to look at it again and give us an output. But this graph seems to work properly, so you can see this is how it is doing some computative analysis. And you can see all this is interactive, right? So you can just hover over something and you can do this. So this is not a simple Microsoft PowerPoint, so where you will not have these interactive components and everything. Here you can see that these graphs that it has created is also interactive that way. And you can see these tables are also right. So it is just comparing with other apps. And it is also creating a business model for us. So you can see for $0 you can get one philosopher, for $10 you can get many philosophers, and for pro you can get all these. Okay, and you can see this is the launch for different things. So overall, we have taken an idea, we have done a detailed research, and then we have created a pitch deck also. So now that the first part of the equation is done, right? So we have done a detailed research and we have created a deck on our product. So now what are the next steps, right? So let us go to the next steps now. So this is what we aim to do, right? And now we have used Claude and we have completed market research, competitor analysis, and pitch deck, right? So now what we will do is we'll take our idea and we'll start prototyping with it, right? So since let's say even in the polls and some of the surveys that we have mentioned, most of you mentioned that you want to learn Claude and understand how to use it more. So I'll be using Claude for most of the session. But if you want to know about more apps or anything, you can me know on the chat, and we will also be conducting some future sessions on different things. Okay. So now what we will try to do is, so now our basic research part is done. So now let us start building some apps just to see how the chatbot should look like, how it should feel, and so on and so forth. So let me go back to Claude right now. And now I'll open a new chat window for Claude with Claude AI. Okay. So now what we want to do right now is, let's say I want to test, I want to see and test if this app is working correctly or not, right? Sorry, I want to start designing a prototype for this, right? So I will just take the main colors that we have used from this, or maybe we can just design something new. So here I'll just go to Claude right now. And now my step, what we are currently focusing on right now is we need to create a prototype of our app, right? So you can just go to Claude, and in that you can select whichever model you want. So for design and everything, I like Opus, or sometimes Fable is even better. So I'm just using Opus, as you can see. Now, what you need to do is you can just you can just give prompt to AI on what you want to build, and it will build it to you from scratch. So, what I want to do is I'll just give it a prompt about the app. I'm building a mental health chatbot called Willow, which is basically an AI powered chat where users can chat with popular Greek philosophers like so in this particular document it has given some philosophers name, so I'm just copying this. In this, what I can do is I want you to design a premium and calm interface with bright orange, white, and green color textures. And so you can see that here I'm just giving it the prompt. And one thing that you need to mention is, let's say we want a working prototype, right? So we just don't want a simple design that we can see. We also want to ask some questions and see how it is responding and everything. So one cheat code that you can actually use within Claude to make an AI app is you can just say make an AI powered artifact. So HTML is very easy for you to design prototypes. So what I'm doing is I'm just giving a brief description of what I want it to be. I like this. And you can also give some additional features, right? There should be a drop down available for the user where they can select between different philosophers they want to chat with. Right. I'm also saying the user should be able to select between different philosophers and how they can chat with. And now at last I'm saying this important statement where I'm asking it to make AI powered artifact. So when you say AI powered artifact, AI will automatically understand that, okay, I have to use AI within this app so that users can have an intelligent chat. So you can see that currently it is actually looking at the prompt that we have given, and it is now again the same thing with AI. Everything will take few minutes, so we can just wait and see how it is going to create. So meanwhile, if you have any questions on anything that we have discussed so far, you can just send it on the chat, and I'll take questions one by one. So I'll also share this prompt so that you can also build the same. So you see that it is also saying that it is creating some SVG icons also. It is also creating some safety disclaimer messages and everything. So it should be a simple app for us to get so we can actually see how that is working. So it's saying that before building my plan, a warm near white paper with a grain and everything. Okay, okay, whatever. So why say calm? So generally, when you are designing any AI interfaces, you can just these AI models are very good at understanding the adjectives, right? You can say, give me a rustic design, so it will actually put those UI components. So here, since we are trying to create uh, let's say therapy app, I want calm aesthetic. So calm generally means that it will use light tone colors. It will have some nice font that is not too much. So that is the idea. So you can just mention the adjective calm, crazy, outstanding, out of the world. So you can just mention all these things in your prompts and see how AI is reacting with different outputs. Okay, so you can see that before building my plan, it is saying that it is going to do something. So we can just wait for what it is doing. So while this is working, what we will also do is, this is going to create a web interface for us, right? So where we can chat it on our desktop and everything. So what I want to do is simultaneously for this same thing, I also want to create Android application, right? So I want to create a UI as to how this application. So most people might not be using Willow on their laptop, so they might be primarily using it on phone. So once we'll look at this output, and I will also show you how you can create a mobile interface for this. So I'll just click on Willow, and you can see hopefully we should have a working app in here. Okay, so you can see the calm design, right? So this is what we meant, and I'll just expand. Okay, you can see there are different characters that you can chat with, Socrates, Seneca, Epictetus, and everyone. So let's say I can talk with this. So I can just ask any question. Work is following everything. Let us run this and see what it gives us an output. So now you got the answer. So you can see here I have asked this question, and Marcus Aurelius is actually responding it like this. I know that feeling, and you can. It's also asking a bunch of things to you, and you can just follow up and ask more questions, right? So let's say I say that this response is very long. I say give me a shorter response and one actionable advice I can implement. So you can see that we have just built a chatbot, a working chatbot, just from scratch. So you can see that there is some error in this thing. So now, whenever you are working with AI, so we see that the basic prototype is working, right? So here, what we wanted to do is we didn't intend to build the entire app within this. So what we want to primarily do is we want to create an app, build and refine the UI and everything. So for the full working app, we have some more steps to do, but you can see how it is working. But the basic idea of the app is correct. So you can see that it is actually looking very therapeutic. It has nice colors. There is this warm gradient here, and you can actually choose between different people. So now what I want to do is, so let's say I feel like in this chatbot, I want to make a lot of changes, right? So the colors are good, but let's say if a user is using this particular chatbot during night, right? So I want to add a dark mode, and generally, I also want to add some additional philosophers also, right? And yeah, so those are the changes that I want to make. So I want to, here there are already four philosophers, so what I want to do is I want to add two more and see how that works. And within the UI, what I want to do is I want to add a dark mode, right? And also I want to add a sidebar, right? So whenever you are looking at ChatGPT, so ChatGPT always has this sidebar where you can actually see all your previous chats. So currently in our UI, you can see that it is not there, right? So currently it is only single chat, and that UI is not built in. So what I want to do is I'll say that add a dark mode and also add a place where we can see previous chats. I like the interface overall, but for people who might be using this app during night, I want to add a dark mode. I don't want it to be pitch dark. It should be luminescent. And yeah, also in this app, there is no component for accessing previous chats. So also add a sidebar where users can access their previous chats. Right. So you can see that we have designed this interface, and now we can keep refining it. Right. So I'll add a dark mode, I'll add a sidebar and do all the changes. So currently what we are doing is we are not building the entire app as such, but we are doing all the wireframing, UI, UX design from scratch. So I'll just run this so that AI will go back, change the design, and give us the new output. So you can see this AI will now go back and it will look at the each component and it will start working, right? So we will let this work. So and we'll come back and see what changes it is doing. But at the same time, what I also want to do is instead of just creating a web prototype. So here with Claude, what we are doing is we are creating a web prototype. But Google has an amazing app called Google Stitch that will help you create some app layouts. If I want to deploy this application on Android or iOS, how should the outlook look like, right? So that we can do with Google Stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go to Google Stitch right now, or this is the link for it, stitchwithgoogle.com. I'll send this link also if you want to try it out. So this is a free tool by Google, so you can use it right now as much as you want till it is free. Okay. So what we are doing right now is I'll just copy paste this same prompt I used for creating the website, right? So this is the prompt that I have used. So I'm going to copy the same prompt and I'm going to paste it in Stitch, right? Stitch with google.com. And instead of, if we create a web version, it will create the similar version that we are already creating. So we don't want web version, we want an application. So we want a mobile native app. So I'll just click on this. And while you are thinking, so while you are creating, you can choose whichever models you want. So 3 flash is good. So I'll just go for it and I'll just press enter. So you can see that based on our colors, it has also chosen a color palette and it is also, let's say, generating some images. So this is almost like Figma, but fully AI powered Figma, right? So you can just give it a prompt and AI will spin up some images, interfaces, prototypes, and everything that is ready to see. So you can see that the reason I like this is that Stitch also has a capability to design, let's say, create images. So it actually uses Nano Banana model to create images. So here, as I mentioned the app name, it is actually creating a logo also. That is very nice. So it says below, and you can see some images of this. I'm curious how everything will come into it. You can see how this is working. So you can see my hands are up. So I'm not changing anything. You can see this AI is now creating all the interface by itself. Each and every component is designed by AI step by step. So we can just wait. So even this AI will design all the images that are required in the app. It will create the UI. It can also do some functional testing and bunch of other things. Okay. Okay. So you can see that these are the screens that it has designed. And now I can say that, let's say, again, you need not be satisfied with the first design, right? So what you can do is you can ask it to create some more designs for, so let's say chat window looks very average or maybe doesn't look exciting. I'll ask it to create 2 more prototypes for it. The chat window does not look exciting. Can you create 2 more UI designs for it? So now what will happen is AI is now going to see the designs that it has created based on our design. It will also design some topics, right? So you can see I wanted 2 designs. Now it is making 2 more designs for us. So you can see that it is automatically creating one in slightly dark mode and one in slightly light mode. So that also looks good. Okay. So you can see some different interfaces and it is coming up with everything. Okay. Okay. So you can see now it is done. So similarly, what you can do is you can design your entire application flow, right? Starting from screen 1 to screen 2 to screen 3, end to end, you can design everything from, let's say, Google Stitch, right? So you can see that anything you want to edit. So let's say if you want to edit a particular screen, you can just click on it and you can just give it a comment and what you want to change in each screen. So that way you can design this entire flow on how each screen will look in the app and everything, right? So one way to build this is that build this directly is you can just click on the interface and you can just take export, right? Once you like click on export, you will be able to export it to Google's own vibe coding studio called AI Studio. And once you say build with Studio, Google will also build that app for you, right? And you can also download this as a zip file and you can save it for later. So I'll tell you how to use the zip file later. But once you have created this designs using AI, so you can just click on the zip file and download the zip file. So now all your designs for the app are ready. And let us go and check how the website looks like in dark theme, right? So you can see that in this app, we asked it to make some changes and this is how it looks. So I'll just expand this one. And now you can see that, let's say I can just ask any question and you can see that there is a new chat window that is opening, right? And the dark theme is also look, so as mentioned, I didn't want a dark theme that is very pitch dark. I wanted it to be luminescent that way. So it is also adding some lighting behind this. So it is following the instructions more or less. So this is also nice. And it has made dark, but it has also added this button for white and dark. So I'll just click on this. So we can easily shift between dark and light modes also, right? So our prototypes are also now ready, right? So what I can do is I can just download this as well. So now for my particular application, so what all I have done, so I have created a prototype for a web prototype using Claude, and I've also created a app prototype or maybe app design using Google Stitch, right? So now the final step with the application is to build this entire app from scratch, right? So now we have the pieces, bits and pieces on how it should look on website. We have bits and pieces on how it should look on the application side and so on. So now the idea is we should put them all together and build an app that we can share it as a link with someone. So one simplest way to share the link to app is, so whatever we have created with artifacts or maybe the HTML file, Claude allows you to share these file directly, right? So if I want to share this application with someone, instead of building the entire app and then taking the feedback, Claude also allows you to share whatever you have. So I can just click on this and publish. So I'll copy this link and I'll just share it with anyone. So this way, what you can do is the prototyping can be very, very quick, right? So you don't have to wait for a designer or a developer to come and design something for you. So you can just go to this app. You can just ask Claude to design a HTML overview. It will give you a minimal working app that you can test it out. And you can also download the design, or if you don't, let's say if you don't want to manually download, you can just click on publish and you can share this link with anyone. So that way you can create an app and quickly share it with someone. But the idea is that we want to create a link, app link that we can share it with everyone, right? So for that, we will actually use an amazing tool called Claude Code, right? So which is like an amazing coding tool by Claude itself, where we can see how the entire app will work. So again, building an entire app will take some time. So first I will type the prompt and I will let Claude build it. So first we will give the prompt, and then in the second step, I'll show you how to deploy it as a link to others. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll just go back to Claude. And now instead of Claude.ai, I'll say Claude.ai/code. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going to Claude Code instead of Claude Chat. So in this, what I need to do is I'll just need to link my application. Sorry, I'll just need to link my GitHub to this, right? So what I need to GitHub, for anyone who doesn't know what GitHub is just like Google Drive but for code, right? So whenever you want to deploy any application, if your code is on GitHub, it is very easy for you. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to github.com/new, and here I'm creating my folder. So this is the app, and I'll just create an empty folder with not much information, right? So you can see that this is the empty folder that I have created for my application, which is called Willow app, and this is empty, right? So now I'll go back to Claude Code. And in this, one good thing about Claude Code is your Claude Code can directly connect to your GitHub, right? So I'll just click on this and I'll just type Willow. So this is the Willow app. So I'll just copy this. And now what I need to do is whatever design that we have initially designed. So let's say this is the design that we made for the app. So what I need to do is I just need to copy this design and ask it to make it, right? So what I'll do is I'll just copy the design that I have as a HTML file and I'll paste it. So for now, I'm not dragging and dropping the app content because let's say if it starts creating app also, it will take a lot of time. So for now, what I'm doing is I'm just dragging and dropping my HTML design file here. I'll say now make this prototype full working app in, you can say with.js. So basically the White.js, Next.js, React.js, these are all website frameworks. again, if you don't know much about them, it is still fine, right? You can just say, let's say if you want to build a full working app, so you can use anything like Vite.js, Next.js, React, or anything. So it's up to you which choice. But if you don't know much about this, don't think too much. Just write Vite.js. And one thing is, let's say when we create an AI app, so we need AI to be powered by a model, right? So here, whenever we build a prototype within Claude, whenever I'm asking any question, this request is being sent to Claude model and we are getting the response. So now, here, what I want to do is Gemini model is very cheap, right? So instead of using Claude model, which is costly, so I want to use Gemini model. For the AI chatbot features, I want you to use Gemini 3.7 Flash. So this is for AI chatbot features. I'm saying you need to use this, and the user can enter their API key, use the app. That's it. So what you need to do is, I'll just copy this command also. So I'll just copy this prompt. So if you want to copy this, you can also do this. Use there, I'll just say Gemini API key so that the model is not confused. And select the model. I'll just use Opus for now. So make this prototype into a full working app in Vite.js. For AI chatbot features, you can use this. I'll just use, so because this is a simple app, I can just make it faster by, so since I already have the design, I already have the working, so I don't need to use a very complex model. So I'm just using Sonnet model and I'm asking it to run. So now this will again take 4 to 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes to run. And once the app is run, I will also show you how you can deploy it, right? So once you get the app outside from it, you should also be able to deploy it and share it with your friends. So that will take around 5 minutes to happen. So, but before that, before I proceed to the deployment part or teach anything more, okay, so let us look at the app that we have created right now. So we can see that this is the app that the AI has built. So let us just go and click on this. So it is basically pushing the code to GitHub. So basically what AI is doing is Claude has already written the code and now it is pushing the code to GitHub on our behalf so that that code can be deployed and we can see the outputs too. And we can see now the code is ready. So now you might ask, okay, how good is this code and what am I going to do this? So since we have created in Vite.js, what we can actually do is we can simply deploy the app. We can go to this website called Vercel. And in that, what you'll need to do is just click on add new project. And in this, you can just type the project name that you have. So which is below app is where my code is lying, right? So I'll just click on import. And now you can see that this is an app that is now available for everyone to use. So I can just copy this link and share it with you, and you can also use it. Right. So this is how we have created an end-to-end app.